My boss fired me to cover his fraud, so I sent him to prison. The day my boss called me into his office and accused me of stealing $80,000 from the company, I didn't panic, because I knew exactly who actually took it. And 3 months later, he was in handcuffs. Let me explain. I worked as a financial controller for a mid-sized construction company. I handled payroll, vendor payments, invoices, all of it. Greg was the type of guy who wore expensive watches, but complained about buying employees new office chairs. He talked about company loyalty while cutting bonuses. But he had one real talent: manipulation. About 6 months before everything exploded, I started noticing weird transfers. Vendor payments just slightly higher than they should have been. Rounded numbers. Repeat invoices. When I traced them, they all led back to a subcontractor we barely used. That subcontractor was owned by Greg's brother-in-law. I flagged it quietly and asked Greg about it. He smiled and said, "Stay in your lane." That was my first mistake. I let it go. Then the IRS audit notice came in, and suddenly, Greg needed someone to blame. He called me into his office with HR sitting there. He slid a printed ledger across the desk. Highlighted in yellow were the unauthorized transfers. My login credentials were attached. He said, "We have evidence you've been diverting funds." I actually laughed, because the transfers were approved manually, by him. But he'd altered the digital approval logs,